Community of inquiry and supporting discourse. What is a community of inquiry? A community of inquiry is to bring together people involved in considering a problem from an empirical or conceptual perspective. The idea is that by bringing together different members of the community, a greater overall understanding of the subject at hand might be obtained. So we have an example of a community of inquiry is the story of a group of blindfolded men, each trying to identify the elephant by giving a description, where each person will pool on their experiences to create an overall bigger picture. Here is the general framework of community of inquiry. We have social or affective presence, cognitive presence, and teaching presence. Each category overlaps one another, but I'll be discussing supporting discourse as shown in purple. Let me give you an overview of both presences before I dive in. Cognitive presence. So when we talk about critical thinking skills, we're touching on cognitive presence, perhaps the most difficult of the three presences to grasp. Cognitive presence relates to how we move through the learning process, approaching problems, seeking out new knowledge, gaining new levels of understanding, and sharing that understanding with the learning community. The goal is to have learners integrate key concepts into their own worlds, explore associated resources, and bring new knowledge and new ideas into the learning process. The four main aspects is triggering, exploration, integration, and then resolution. Cognitive presence supports scaffolded learning, the sequential progress of learning through content review and activities, leading to an understanding of content and context. So think about a time when you're learning a new skill or concept, the sense of puzzlement, followed by inquiry, questions you needed to ask in order to grasp that new skill or concept. You asked questions, then you got responses, and you had a dialogue. Perhaps even asked more questions. You engaged with the concepts in order to synthesize their meaning so that you could shape new meaning and apply those new skills or concepts. Cognitive presence supports learner engagement with new skills and concepts and helps them progress through scaffolded learning process. Social presence. So we have all experienced that awkward moment when we are new to our surroundings and had to stretch our comfort level in order to reach out to others in group situations. Being welcomed into a new environment helps us settle in and trust our surroundings enough to be comfortable sharing within an established communication venues. Social presence is always allowing risk-free expression, drawing in participants, encouraging collaboration, establishing instructor presence, engaging in supportive contact and interactions. So here are some examples of what is seen in each presence. As you can tell, cognitive is more of an analytical and problem solving, whereas social presence is more to do with the acknowledgement of others and emotions. The emotions in an online platform is shown as emojis. So what is supporting discourse? Supporting discourse is a combination of the two presences. In order for deep, meaningful learning to occur, both presences are needed in order for supporting discourse or discussion. So these are the different types of discourse in online platforms. You have asynchronous, synchronous, chat, collaboration, cooperation, discussion or bulletin board, etivity, emoticon, instant messaging, and forum. So what are the problems with online discourse? Well, student engagement. Sometimes students aren't aware of their presence of their peers or their instructors, of what they're doing currently. Some of them are not even sure what the virtual social communication protocol is, how to communicate with the instructor versus their peers. And the deficit of the coherence of contributions on an online discussion post. So if the sequence of discussion posts aren't in chronological order, it's hard for the individual to understand where to begin to incorporate their contributions. If learning discourses suffer from these problems, this poses a serious barrier to successful learning. So here are a variety of platforms that can be used to support discourse. Each technology has its own value to be used in the classroom. For example, the comparison Twitter versus Facebook, they are different, but they're both equally useful in supporting discourse in their own way. Overall, the community inquiry model is not isolated into two aspects, it's actually a whole. So social presence, cognitive presence, and teaching presence is required to gain the whole educational experience in an online learning platform.